Sills! This thing flew, man. We're in the final hour already. Is it me or is this thing flying today? This show flies every day. Every day, man. You guys make it happen, and some of the great folks that we get on. By the way, Rick Barry has just agreed to come on. He's now our NBA aficionado, and we should have the NBA Finals all set up. So we'll talk to our Hall of Famer on Thursday and get his take on Nuggets and I believe Heat. I think the Heat close it up tonight. So you got Joker versus Jimmy. Dude, I kind of like that. So I was watching real quick before we move on here. I was watching like Undisputed and some of the Fox shows about last night and the Lakers getting swept. It was 2 hours of Laker talk. What should the Lakers do next? What do you think the Lakers will do? And I'm like, the Nuggets swept them. The best player on the planet is not in Philadelphia. It's exactly what Rick Barry said. The guy's in Denver. I've never seen a big man, including Embiid, pass like that. Some of those shots that he was making over Anthony Davis, I'm like, look, he doesn't move around like Olajuwon. And Hakeem, probably, in my opinion. See, to me, everyone goes, Sills, who would you take, Shaq or Hakeem? 2 minutes left in the game, I'm going to take Olajuwon. Someone would go, over Shaq? I go, yeah, he shoots free throws. He's got a jump shot. He plays defense, and he runs the floor. I mean, Hakeem Olajuwon did everything. 80% free throw shooter. Defensive player of the year. Had a 30-footer. Ran the floor. Two-time NBA defensive player of the year. I don't know. I mean, you'd be hard. I'll tell you this. He's better than Ewing. Olajuwon was better than Ewing. Hakeem's one of the top 5 centers in the history of the sport, man. Because he ran the floor. Remember something. He didn't pick up. Do you know Olajuwon didn't pick up basketball until his sophomore year at Houston? He was a soccer player. And then his last 2 years at Houston, he led that Phi Sigma Gamma basketball team with Drexler and those guys to the NBA or to the NCAA finals. Yeah, he didn't. That's not what he was, man. So wait a minute. I want to go back and walk back one more here. Embiid is better than Ewing. He ain't tougher. But kind of the same. Yeah, probably better. Embiid's not better than Malone. Malone's a better basketball player. Moses Malone was a better basketball player than Joel Embiid, and I would want him. See, the difference between Moses Malone and Joel Embiid, Malone's a 1 center on the 5, okay? There's very few centers and guys who played the 5 box who are 1s. He was one of them. Moses Malone was the go-to guy on that team. Don't kid yourself with Doc. It was Malone. Had a jump shot. Great at the charity stripe, was dominant off the boards. Moses Malone was a great basketball player. Even Wilt, man, he struggled at the charity stripe. Wilt's not someone you want with 2 minutes left. Okay, you take Jabbar. Yeah, man, just post Malone. Yeah. So imagine Goddard, Smith, Brown, Swift, and Hopkins. That's where I'm going here. So if DeAndre Hopkins gets cut, how much would you – but first off, I don't believe DeAndre Hopkins. You see Jonathan Gannon's comments today on DeAndre Hopkins? I'm not worried about Hopkins. You're not? You're right. You should be worried about the Cardinals. $19.4 million this year is his base salary. How you doing? He'll be 31 June 6th. They'll cut him before that. He's a $30 million cap hit this year. A 26, I'm sorry, I'm getting choked up. A $26 million cap hit next year. $14.9 next year for a 32-year-old wide receiver. Not a chance in hell this guy's on this. There is no way DeAndre Hopkins is a Cardinal by September. No way. And Chuck, he's too expensive for Arizona. So if you're Howie, here, go with me here. And by the way, I did what you guys suggested. I did hear Hopkins say he'd like to play for Jalen Hurts or with Jalen Hurts. I did hear that. I was like, wow, content. I love it. So Hopkins wants to play with Jalen. Howie, make it happen. How can you make this happen? Well, what would it take to get DeAndre Hopkins? Here's what has to happen. He has to get cut. Obviously, you're not trading for him because you don't want to give up draft choices and you're not trading for that money. Then again, no, I don't think you have to worry about that because now, are there teams out there that will be desperate? Who are This is how you check out the landscape. Who is a desperate team right now for a wide receiver who still got a lot in the tank but is a little bit rich and has the money? Houston. Well, they're not going back over that again. The Saints, cap hell. The Bucks, cap hell. The Dolphins don't really need it. The Giants, the Packers. Packers get that contract off of the books with Aaron Rodgers. You're not paying your quarterback. You got that really weird deal now. Hopkins to Green Bay. Hopkins, he's going to be cut. So he's not going to play with Jordan Love. Why? Now, would you go to Minnesota and play on the other side of Justin Jefferson? Would you go to Buffalo? First is, he's got to get cut, and I think he is. I think come June 1, Arizona's going to – here. Is Arizona one player away from winning the Super Bowl? Ask yourself that. No. Your quarterback's not back until the midway point of the season. What's the point of paying $20 million for a guy who I don't even know who's on the team? Colt McCoy? Why in the world would you pay a guy $20 million and have a $30 million cap hit to your deal why? You wouldn't. So what do? The Cardinals are going to have to take that cap hit if they cut him. But at least they'll look at it this way. Yeah, well, if we cut him, we don't have to pay him the $20 million. So it's a $10 million in the whole deal. That's how they're going to look at it. At $10 million versus $50 million if they were to keep him. I think the writing's on the wall. I think they got to cut him. And then you're pinned in the next year. You got a $26 million cap hit the following year. You make it up if you cut the guy because you save $36 million or $33 million in salary. Okay, all that being said, so he's cut. Do you know why he's throwing out names of quarterbacks? Because he's telling his agent, this is where I'm willing to play. What were the teams that he said? Kansas City? Jesus criminy. Dude, Kansas City is scary. Shit. If I were the Eagles, I might get him on my team just so he doesn't go to Kansas City. Kansas City, the Ravens, and the Eagles. Okay. See, now what he's doing, Chiefs, Bills, Eagles, Chargers, Ravens, all playoff teams, and all with big-time quarterbacks. Chiefs. He would probably take less money. How much money would it take to get him to Kansas City? What would be my opening bid for those 4-5 teams? First, let's see if they would take him. Chiefs, in a minute. Bills, on the other side of Diggs, be unbelievably scary. That's if they can get the ball in his hands. Hey, cold as hell up there, though, ain't it? The Eagles, interesting. You know I'm going to the NFC title game. If I'm Hopkins and I go there and I win a Super Bowl, and that puts a Super Bowl on my resume, he's looking for one more contract. You understand that? He wants one more contract, like Odell Beckham just got. Be a 1 or 2 year deal. Chargers. Spanos is too cheap. The Ravens, Odell Beckham and DeAndre Hopkins, and the kid they drafted could be absolutely, it would put the Ravens in the conversation. It would put the Ravens in the conversation of being one of the favorites in the AFC. Okay, now here, are you going to sacrifice, because some of these places you're going to sacrifice numbers. So if the Eagles, let's do the Eagles here. Hopkins and Howie talk after he gets cut. I'll take, let's start it at, what did Beckham get? 14 million? Off a knee injury. DeAndre Hopkins is better than Odell Beckham today. He's better. Then again, he's always been better. Odell Beckham has been more theatrical. Hopkins is the better player and has been. Okay? He has. He got 14 million bucks. So do you start there? 14 million. Would the Eagles pay that? Hopkins would command 20. 31 years old. Coming off an injury. Man, but Beckham got, what? Hey, Tone, double check that. I think he got 14, or did he get 17? I think it's too rich for Philly. I think it's too rich. But you do, wait a minute now. You do have Devontae Smith on a rookie contract. He ain't making a ton of money. His base is not that high. Smith's 1 year deal to put Hopkins in the 3-hole, and God, DeAndre Hopkins, Swift, A.J. Brown, Goddard. Odell got 15 million. Jesus criminy, man. And he came off an injury, and he hasn't been productive at all. If he wants to play in May, play to win, he may. That's what I'm saying. Wow. Man, Beckham got 15 million bucks. Shit. I think it's too rich for Philly. 13.8 guaranteed. I don't think Philly would pay that. He's worth it. He's worth it. I think KC would pay that. No, they let Hill walk and won a Super Bowl without it. The Bills? Chargers? No. Ravens. Would you pay, and you just paid your quarterback $51 million, and you drafted a wideout and you paid wow. Where's he going to land? So if you're looking at all that, maybe you do talk to the Eagles. I would try a 1 year rental deal, D-Hop, but we know Hopkins wouldn't go for that. Why not? So Tone thinks then that he's going to get cut and someone's going to offer him a 3-year contract. Would the Cowboys do that? Like I say yesterday, the Cowboys. The Cowboys get DeAndre Hopkins. You do not have the best wide receiving core as a threesome. You do not. Well, wait. Best pass catching offense in the NFC. Goddard is in there. Smith and AJ. They would have CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, and DeAndre Hopkins. I would probably still favor the Eagles. I would probably still favor them. You think Hopkins will mercenary his way through the rest of his career right now? 1-year deals? Maybe. You mean be like the Ndamukong Suh of wideouts? Or like the Darrelle Revises where he signs those 1-year contracts? He might, but it's not going to be cheap. See, I think Hopkins is a real thing to the Philadelphia Eagles because I would weigh it like this. What if I come in and get 65 catches? Coming off an knee injury, too. Get 65 catches. He has 800 yards, 700 yards. In the 3-hole. That would be spectacular. And then you go like this. Well, I came in here because I wanted to win. And you put that out there too. I didn't come here for stats. I'm a team guy. But now I want to get paid. And wide receivers are a hot commodity in the NFL. I mean, trade value and market value for wideouts, great ones. Look at what Beckham just got. Beckham has Denson a fender and got $15 million. Wide receiver, dude, you have a dent in a fender and you're a running back, you're Rashad Penny. You're a guy that's been hurt 3 of the last 4 years, like Beckham. You got a $15 million, $13.8 million guaranteed 1-year deal, and you really haven't played worth of shit in the last 3 years. Market value for wideouts is awful high right now. Dude, you're a running back and you get banged up, you're done. Look at Zeke. He has no market. Tone's going like this. Sills, Hopkins is going to get $20 million. But nobody's here going like this. Hey, Sills, you think Zeke's going to get $15 million, $18 million? No, I do not. You'd be lucky to get 4. And he's 28. Okay? Sills, would you do $10 million 1 year for Hopkins? In a minute. So would the Eagles, I believe. A $10 million deal 1 year for DeAndre Hopkins. Where do I sign? Dude, that guy's going to get you 8 touchdowns. Okay, so let me ask you this. How would this look going in from the red zone? Smith on the perimeter, AJ on the Y. In the slot, you have DeAndre Hopkins, and at the tight end position, you have Goddard, and you got Swift in the run game and in the pass game for screens. Who are you defending? You don't have enough people on that side of the ball to defend those guys. It'd be an all-star. It'd be the greatest offense the Eagles have ever had. Shit, it's almost there now. Worry about your defense? I don't care about my defense. Hey, if you sign DeAndre Hopkins, I don't give a shit how many points you're giving up on that side of the ball. Hey, just stop him once. Hey, you know what? Honestly, if you sign DeAndre Hopkins, the only thing you would have to tell Sean Desai, just stop him once. We'll take it from there. All you need is one stop. One stop. Shit, Cosmo. If they add Hopkins, do you think Hurts goes for $4K? You might want to up that. You might want to get near 5. Shit, he could be over 4,500 passing yards. Can you imagine Jalen Hurts in that RPO? Dude, if Jalen Hurts, if they put DeAndre Hopkins on that team, Jalen Hurts will win the most valuable player award. He'll win it. Because if he goes for 4,500 yards in an RPO offense, God knows what that touchdown total is going to be. I mean, he's going to have at least 800 yards rushing. It'd be one of the greatest seasons in the history of the league. You put Hopkins on that team, he wins the MVP. He wins the MVP. It's pretty pricey, though. $10 million. You'd have to somehow convince him, hey, I'm going to get you catches. You know what? Hey, wait a minute. You know what I would do? I'd call AJ into my office and Hurts and Devontae and Goddard. And I would go like this. We want you to make a sales pitch to DeAndre Hopkins when he gets cut to bring him here. AJ, you're making $25 million, whether you catch 50 passes or 150 passes. We know if he comes here, you guys' numbers are going down. Maybe. Hey, Devontae, you're our future. Dallas, so wait a minute. Look at what that would do to Dallas Goedert, too. Dude, so you got all these guys running around out in the field and spreading you out like that, and you got a big dude, and you've got that Clydesdale running down the seam. He'll be wide open. He would have a Gronk year. How are you going to defend that guy when you've got to worry about stars everywhere? Have you given up on the Cowboys? No. I think the Cowboys are in a real play for that. No. He's got to go somewhere, and I do think he's going to get cut. Now, you know what Jerry sells him? Hey, would you rather make $10 million here in Dallas or $10 million in Philly? I'd rather make $10 million in Dallas. Now, follow me here. Endorsements, wearing the star. Hey, wearing the Yankee stripe or wearing the Boston Red Sox stripe. Why do you think Roger Clemens went into the Hall of Fame, a New York Yankee? You know why? When he goes to signing baseballs and shit, more value being a Yankee than Red Sox. That's a fact. At autograph signings, Red Sox have a great brand, but the Yankees are a better brand. Hey, you're talking now, if you want to win and you're concerned with winning and you're concerned with your legacy, you go to Philly. But because these wide receivers are divas, you're hoping that you get some type of balance in there. Right? You're hoping for some type of balance. It might go to Buffalo. My problem, Tyler, with Buffalo is this, and I agree with you guys on Josh Allen. He's got to be smarter this year. He's got to be smarter. He's got to think the game out better in the fourth quarter and third quarter. Second half of those games, I thought he unraveled a bit. I think he needs to bring that back in and be smarter this year. I hope he did a lot more homework this year and getting better at that. I think he needs more patience a little bit. Ken Dorsey too. Maybe another year, them watching film in the offseason. Here's some of the things we didn't get accomplished. Some of the reckless play has to be cleaned up. Now, here's the difference with Josh Allen. You're not asking him to develop in anything. You're asking him to clean shit up. So you're actually pulling him off the ledge. I'm all right with that. Okay? You're pulling him back a bit. Dude, can't do this. Can't drop the football. When the AFC is so tight, you can't be dropping the football at cost us football games. Do you know that was a Carson Wentz play? I hope I don't see more of those because that was a total Carson Wentz play against Minnesota. They had that game won. What does he do? He fumbles the snap with a minute left in the game. Cost him home field advantage, in my opinion. After the whole situation with the player in Cincinnati and all that game cost them. That Minnesota loss cost them home field advantage. They win that game because they had beaten KC already. They would have got home field advantage. Can't have that. Can't have that. You've got to be a little bit less reckless in your approach. Okay? Can't. The AFC is going to – see, I think it's a three-team race in the NFC. Eagles, Cowboys, Niners. And there'll be a surprise team somewhere. In the AFC, by the way, if Hopkins goes to the AFC, dude, he's going to be a game changer somewhere. He's a game changer. He'll change the dynamic of a team. Like the Ravens, then maybe they move into that 4 hole in the AFC. Or if he goes to Los Angeles with the Chargers, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Hopkins. You see Austin Eckler re-signed now. They gave him a $2 million incentive bonus. If he gets these incentives, he gets $2 million extra. So they got Eckler back now. I mean, I don't think he goes to Cincinnati. Sills, you know Howie and Slay are watching right now. You might have served him the pitch already. I know they watch. I'm told every day they watch. So Hopkins, there's not a team in the NFL, including the Cardinals, is going to pay this. Not a chance. Would you, again, Arizona's situation dictates this. Your organization is in turnover with a new coach. Your quarterback is not coming back until the 8th game of the year. Your receiver has $31 million in cap hit and a $20 million salary. Jeez. Why? And he's 31 and 5 in like a week. I don't know. Is he a good player? Yes. But for the health of the roster and roster management and cap management, you got to cut him. See, here's the beautiful thing again of Howie. Howie's not going to have this. Why won't Howie have to have this? Those insane cap hits that Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie. By the way, from now on, every time you talk about Jalen Hurts' contract, we should always all add Jeffrey Lurie to this. Because the only reason those cap hits are the way they are is because the owner decided to front load the contract. There's not very many owners in the NFL that are front loading contracts. Even the Giants saw what the Eagles did. They're still hammered with that shit contract of Daniel Jones. Okay, good luck. You're the only people in the NFL that believe in that guy. You may be right. I could see the Texans reuniting with Hopkins. He hates that organization. No way. There's some religious do-gooder in there that doesn't like him. He's like one of the friends of the McNair family, and this guy's in there, and some religious guy, and I forget his name, that kind of pulls the strings in there, even over Nick Caserio, the GM. So I don't see that. I'd rather have Budda Baker. No way. Budda Baker versus DeAndre Hopkins. You're going to pay $20 million or $18 million for a safety? No, thank you. I'll stick with the dudes we have now. D-Hop to Cleveland. I hadn't thought of that. They just restructured Watson's deal too. Jack, that's it. Thank you, Tony. Yeah, that guy's a tool. Okay? That guy, Jack Easterby, is a tool. Nobody likes him in the NFL. He's a religious do-gooder. And, constantly it gives bad advice to the McNair family. I hate that guy. There's not a person in the league. Andre Johnson can't stand the guy either. Okay? Difference between Lurie and Harris. Lurie is a fanatic like us. Scott, I would say this to you. He helped Howie Roseman in that Jalen Hurts contract so much that now every owner do you know that Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie exposed every single owner in the league? He exposed it. See this? DeAndre Hopkins, if he was a Philadelphia Eagle, do you think there'd be a $30 million cap hit on the Eagle ledger for a wide receiver in a $20 million? I guarantee you the A.J. Brown deal will get restructured. He has another great year here. He's only 25. Laurie's going to come back and go, tell you what we'll do. We're going to give you guaranteed money like we did Lane. Here's the money. We want to drop your base salary down to 11. And he'll go, more guaranteed money up front? Yeah, great. So like next year, he'll get $35 million. The same thing Slay did. Slay got a one-year deal basically for what? $25 million? So they could reduce the cap. Took $3.5 million off his salary too. Dude, that owner, Philadelphia, he if you're a player, you're going, why isn't my guy doing that? Why isn't my guy coming to me going like this? Why don't you front load my contract? You know why? You know why they want to backload contracts most of the time in the NFL? So when they cut you, they don't have to pay you. See, Jeffrey Lurie is on the hook for this 170. He's on the hook for it. No matter what happens, basically Jalen's got a 3-year contract at 170. Because there's like an out somewhere in there. They'll redo that. If he's still killing it 3 years in, they'll add 3 more years. And it'll be another process to keep that cap down. Look at the Cardinals. The Cardinals have, between this guy and Kyler Murray's, you see the cap hits that they have in Arizona for this guy and Kyler Murray? Can't afford that. Because you know why? You have assholes running the Arizona Cardinals. They don't care. That guy, hey, cash is king. Cash is king to your cap. Every owner in the NFL saw what the Eagles did, but yet refused to do what the Eagles did. Irsay pulls the trigger on D-Hub, smoking his bong. Smoking his bong? You think he's smoking weed? I don't know. Might be a little more rougher. I don't know, man. There may be a little rock in there somewhere. I don't think Irsay is a pot smoker. I think he's more. I think he's more of a guy going. Yeah, I'm just going to show you. I only saw this on TV. Where is that? Is that what? Was that a rock? What? Irsay's still looking for his second love child. We'll see if it's Anthony Richardson. And Neil, I don't know what snorting a rail means. I have no idea. Stop talking like that. They have Richardson in Indy. Yeah, we'll see Anthony Richardson. We'll see what he does.